Hey you guys, hello and welcome. We are continuing our Q&A sessions, and today is all about how can you maintain your quantum state, your high frequency, and be in that happy, positive attitude even if things around you are falling apart, even if you're dealing with circumstances, with situations, even people that are simply creating responses in you that you do not like, that you would like to change, things that you would like to have a different attitude about, okay? And we're talking about the kind of things that you can change, where you feel that because of some programming that you have, because of some patterns that you learned, that you've been practicing, that you are trapped in certain ways of responding and have certain habits, that those are the ones that you can look at and where you feel that it's time for a change. So that's what I would like to invite you to play with today in our time together and think about where this would be useful to you in your own life. Which are those responses, those reactions that you have here and there where you would like to simply act differently in the moment. All right, that's what today is about. Last time we talked about how can I prepare myself for those situations when I know that they're coming, because there are plenty of those in our lives. There are plenty of situations that we are all dealing with where we know we're going to have to face something. There might be something coming up tomorrow that's in our calendar that we're ambivalent about, or it's something that we know it's going to routinely show up every couple of months, or it's a pattern that we encounter seasonally. It's something that we know somehow we're going to get into again. So check my other video out for that. And what you can do in preparation so that you don't get trapped. You're not falling into the hole and then you have to climb out again. So that's the other video. Today we're talking about what do I do in the moment when my buttons are getting pushed. How can I catch myself? How can I get into that mode of simply then being present in the moment and saying, oh, look at this, I'm doing it. Wow, how exciting, I'm catching myself. Yay, I'm in the act of, and I'm catching myself. So now I can do something about it. Now I can do something with it. Now that I have this awareness, what we call that is a pattern interrupt. And in that moment, you have new choices available to you. And programming, you know I'm using that word because it is NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. We are programming new responses in our minds. And I show exactly how to do that. And what we're doing is we're taking the opportunity to say, we are going to give our brain a different option. Instead of just doing the old dance that we're used to, that we've practiced so well, and that we're doing again the next time we're going to encounter it, unless we change something about it, we can now rehearse a different response and we set our intent. See, I like the whole holistic approach. And so doing the practice and saying, okay, this is how I want to respond the next time when I'm encountering the situation, things like that, that you are using more of your left brain when you're doing that. This is more that logical approach. This is the step by step. Okay, I'm planning this out now. And then there is the intent. And that is more the right brain approach. That is now the part that says, I'm wondering why I'm doing this in the first place. What's going on here? How does this relate to my life? How does this fit into the bigger picture of what I am about? What does this pattern mean about me? Okay? So let's all think about something in our life where we know we get into situations, those buttons get pushed, and what can I do in that moment? Not just the preparatory things, it's also what can I do in that moment. And those of you who have been around with me for a while, you know exactly what my first answer is going to be. Let's all take a nice deep breath. And just for good measure, another one. And then I invite you for the rest of our time together to keep breathing deeply as you can comfortably while you're still paying attention. This is something I've been teaching myself over many years because I used to be a high breather, high anxiety, lots and lots of internal dialogue, all that fun stuff going on. And deep breathing is a major key in helping us to change those patterns. It is the number one thing that you need to do to actually oxygenate your system so that you can think clearly. Your brain takes 25% of the oxygen coming into your body. That's what it needs for its functioning. And it's this ongoing process of in and out. That is this life sustenance. That is this cycle of life. And you get that opportunity all day long. And in those moments when our buttons get pushed, we stop breathing. It is a natural stress response. You can watch it in other people. I want you to start paying attention in yourself. There is this moment. There is this just holding your breath. And all of a sudden you're like, I haven't breathed. One of those things that I did to myself when I first started teaching. And anytime I would get on stage, I would talk so fast and I was so excited to get all these points across and I was really, really nervous about what I was saying. And then all of a sudden I would be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then the audience would laugh. And over time, I taught myself, take it slowly, take those big, deep breathing pauses. Funny enough, that's what I learned as a child when I learned the saxophone, playing the saxophone, because we had to take very deep breath in those times that we had a pause, so that then when we played the melody again, we had enough breath to make it all the way through our part. And then the next pause would come, and then we would take a breath again. So I learned it on some cognitive level when I was really young. And then with NLP, I learned how I was depriving myself of oxygen when I was in stress situations, and then learned to make the commitment to myself to change the pattern and have it available in those moments when it matters, okay? So, in those times in your own life when it really matters for you to take a deep breath, I would like for you to visualize right now that you are able in that moment, as soon as that button gets pushed, as soon as you feel that adrenaline welling up in you, that emotion, that the butterflies, the sweaty hands, whatever it is for you, that you are going to have that little voice in your head saying, take a deep breath. And what we're doing is, of course, we are pre-programming ourselves for the times in the future. And let's also go into the past right now. So go to some of those moments in your past and give yourself the ability to step back, take a breath. Give yourself that oxygen. Allow yourself to fill your brain with what it needs so that it can think clearly. And in that moment, you're getting out of the fight and flight response. You're lighting up your two hemispheres and hopefully your frontal lobe. And that's where your good decision making is. That's where your morals are. That is where your social thinking is. That is where you are showing up in your higher self. It's such a wonderful time when that happens. And you feel it. You know exactly how it feels when your frontal lobe is lit up and you're in the flow. And it's easy to make decisions. You're not pondering back and forth and you're going crazy and you're driving yourself crazy with thoughts. Information comes clearly to you. It gets sorted, it gets filtered, it gets stored easily. You retrieve it easily. We all have that. We can all be in the zone in the use of our brain. And it is trained. Just like you're training your muscles to do this, like you're training your eyes to be able to do certain things, like you're training yourself to use your phone. It's just a trained reaction that you're doing here. So make the commitment today. Let this be your opportunity to make that commitment and say, you know what? This is important enough to me that I'm going to do this. And by doing that, that is that intent part, you are setting a whole cascade of new abilities in motion. Please trust that. That you are now opening a part of your brain to new possibilities by setting that intention. I want this to change. I want to have a different reaction. So I was driving around a little bit because the other video I did was on traffic. So I laughed at myself several times when I had little moments of people doing interesting things on the street, which there was definitely enough of that. And instead of me being very judgmental and loud about it and going, I can't believe they're doing this, which I did a few times, I admit it. And then I caught myself also mid-sentence sometimes, or I would reframe it afterwards and say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I just wish you a happy, safe journey. Things like that. And then there is also, so we talked about traffic, then there's the stage thing, there is the whole being with people that might be not in a good place, people that you want to help and support. So go to that example, that your buttons might get pushed on that level. Or you might hang out with people that are critical, people that make you unsafe, where you feel you can't be yourself. It might be something at work What is something at work? What is something in your career, in your business, at school, or if you're retired, in you interacting with community, any kind of charity work that you do, anything that has to do with task, completion dates, there's an exchange in energy for what you're putting out there. It is your livelihood. What's going on there? Where are those buttons getting pushed there? And then imagine being able in those moments of stress that the first thing that comes to your mind is that little voice that says, breathe, just breathe. Let's do that right now, you guys. Think of all those times in your life where that would just be so amazing for you to be able, in that moment of stress, to just take that deep breath. And it becomes a normal pattern. It all starts with your intention. You're drawing the framework around the experience. This is what I want. This is what I claim. This is what I'm committing myself to. As of this moment on, I'm going to get better and better. It's as simple as that, you guys. I watch my little granddaughter that has now learned to walk. Oh my goodness, now she's running. So now it's all about the silverware, the little spoon and the little fork, and she watches us and then she wants to do it too. It's ongoing. That striving is ongoing to want to learn more, to get better at it. It is so natural for us, so give yourself that. And if you don't have any energy about that right now, then baby, you tuned into this video for a reason. Because, oh yes, the message is right here for you, isn't it? And that's what keeps me going and gives me so much energy and makes me so happy throughout the day, that I know that there is this ongoing, continuous betterment on some level. So allow yourself to take that in. Bzzz. Allow yourself to fully take that in. You deserve it, sweetie. You deserve it. You deserve to feel good and to have a general attitude of happiness and contentment and health and well-being and abundance and purpose and fun and compassion and peace and trust and aliveness and vitality. You deserve all of that. That is our natural state of being. That's what I see in these beautiful grandchildren every single day. That big smile when they wake up, that playfulness, that discovery of everything going on around them, that interesting, creative way of dealing with everything. And guess what? When I fall, I get back up. When I drop something, I pick it back up. So simple. So let us model those little people. Let's model those beautiful little children that are giving us such an extremely wonderful example of how it can be. Yeah. And you deserve it. You deserve to feel good. Have you heard it enough now? Right on. And start it with your breath, okay? So the breath gives you the life force. It gives you that oxygen physically that you need to operate your brain at maximum capacity for what you're able to do right now, and make it better and better. The more you exercise your brain, the more you will get to make use of it. The more that muscle will be formed and the more choices you will have available. As simple as that. And that's what it's truly about with the law of attraction and with NLP. Is to make that choice and say, yes, I make that commitment to myself to practice that. And then, just like going to the gym, just like doing other things where you put the time in to achieve the results that you want, piano playing, the saxophone playing, any kind of athletics, anything. Anything that we're good at, we have practiced a lot. So, become a super breather, all right? That is the most important thing you can do. Then, you're adding on the visuals. You're adding on the auditories. You're adding on the body movement. And all of that fun stuff is going to be our next video, because that is so much information that I'm going to take the time to go a lot deeper into that with you guys, okay? So for right now, please, let's make that commitment together right now that you are becoming very conscious of your breathing, and that any time that you get into any kind of stress situation, that it is going to become normal for you to just take that deep breath. And that, for this time, is plenty enough for you to practice. And then I'm going to see you again next week. All right? Thanks so much for being here with me, you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And let's take another deep breath together before we part. Right on. Thank you. Bye.